And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Fawcett. I'm touching base with you. If you see that I am part of my mouth is numb because I had deep cleaning on my upper left group of teeth. And so if I can't get some of the words out like I normally do, it's because of that. So good morning. How's everyone doing today on this Focus Friday? The day that we take time to check out accounts that inspire, encourage, and inform. Encourage, inspire, and inform. Excuse me. And we have a couple of those out there. And if you have any that you want to share, please do share. Put an FF and then put it into the comment box. But as you do that, make sure you hit the likes. Make sure you hit the likes, and that way the algorithms can let them know that, or let other people know that we are here. So good morning. Good morning. We are getting ready for a rainstorm here in New York. It's supposed to get very stormy later on tonight. And but right now it's beautiful out. And also, last night I missed Manhattan Hinge, and Lee Goldberg on Channel 7 News said the sun will come out for Stonehenge, and it did. As the sun was going down, the sun came out and lit up 42nd Street. That's where most people go to photograph Stonehenge, Manhattan Hinge. And it was spectacular. I sat here from my window from home and I saw the sun go down. And there is a particular lock spot between these two buildings that I can see from here. And but I was so upset that I did not go to Manhattan to check out Manhattan Hinge and photograph another day of Manhattan Hinge. And the folks got it. The folks got a glimpse of Manhattan Hinge. It was posh. It was a good day. Hey, Chris is in the building. I see Chris says, good morning. And Kelly A says, good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? So good to see you all on here. And again, if you have not hit the likes, hit the likes if you are in the building. So again, I just had dental work done this morning, and my lip is numb, my tooth is numb and sore, and I'm like, I told the dentist, I said, I do not like the deep cleanings. I do not like the deep cleanings, and they're just so painful. And for those that, as you get older, you got to make sure you take care of your teeth, and you have to make sure you get those deep cleanings. I do believe it's every 5 years. When I first got them, it was every 10 years, but now it's every 5 years. And man, oh man, the pain. But at least I'm not drooling. At least I'm not drooling. And that's a good thing. Hey, Kimmy's in the building. She says, hi, Ron. We have a whole new group of first in the buildings. Isn't that something? Yeah, we have a whole new group. And so welcome. So you know what? I wish now what I'm hoping is with this beta on this, you see it scrolling here of the chat of the comments. Maybe it can make it just a little bit bigger. They need to make it just a little bit bigger. And so hopefully they will do that. Maybe I'm not the only person that thinks that, but I think it should be just a wee bit better, a wee bit bigger, so that people can see it if they are in Instagram or on another platform. So there you have it. Kimmy says, I had a very good tech once. Numb up enough, I was good. Kimmy, it is I mean, I hate not feeling my mouth, and it takes hours. My mouth will not be back to normal until probably to about 2 or 3 o'clock. So it takes about 3 hours for it to wear off, at least most of it. And so I got some time. And so, guys, I got some more. I finished up some more photos from BAM. Would you like to see them? Would you like to see the photos from BAM? From BAM's Dance Africa Festival here in New York, in Fort Greene, New York City. If you want to see it, let me know. You guys, I know it's a couple of us here, several of us here, but if you want to see it, let me know. I have it all set up. I have it set up for you, and that way, I did share it on my Instagram. Oh, the sirens! My neighborhood is, and now I can't hold off the sound because I have no curtains. I have no curtains. I have nothing to absorb the sound. So here we go. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? So I added more photos. I showed you guys some of the photos from on, I think it was Wednesday. I think I shared some photos with you guys. Well, look at these. So this is downtown Brooklyn, Fort Greene. This is where, not too far from my house. And you see that big building, the big clock. At one time, that was the only tall building in Brooklyn. And well, now she is not. Now she stands with Minnie. And so this is what the BAM Dance Africa Festival looks like. And it has all of these, like you see all these little tents, all these little venues. They go in all the way down one direction and up another direction and across the street to another direction. So the whole area has all these vendors and lots of vendors, lots of food, lots of African sculptures and beads and garments and clothing and t-shirts. It's a huge festivity. And this was on Monday, on Memorial Day. Now, it was for the whole weekend, but Memorial Day is the big day. That's when everyone shows up. And also, this year, they expanded it. And so there were a lot more areas with people beating the drums, playing their music. And so I was able to capture some of these moments. And I hope you enjoy these. So I'm going to take you through them. And then so this is one of my focuses for today. And I said, why not share it with you guys? I said I did take some time to edit these photos last night and the night before, in between, we'll call it purging my apartment. But here we go. Check it out. And what I love about it is the diaspora. The folks from everywhere. Everyone comes out, and it's also like it's almost like going to church, like in the old days, where people dress up and look their best. Some people pick out their best African clothing, and excuse me as I try to get my my mouth together here. But they look so good. The people look so good. Hey, Mimi, I see you in the building. Mimi is in the building. She says, good morning, Ron and RLP crew. And we got the Kaz. The great Kaz is in the building. Blessed and happy Friday. So as I was saying, so everyone comes dressed and everyone comes ready to dance and have a good time. So here we go. Let's check this one out. Check this out. Is a fellow photographer. I think Tyler is his name. And he is an incredible photographer who's going to come on to our show. I say, you have to come on to our show on a Wednesday so I can, just have a conversation and we can enjoy him as a photographer. He is an amazing photographer. And so he was out there doing his thing with his Jamaican outfit. and all his layers of clothes and his camera at his side. And when I ran into him, he was taking photos. And can you look at this gentleman? Look at his skin. Look at his features. Look at his clothes. I walked up to him and said, "May I photograph you?" He said, "Absolutely." And he was so kind. And it was a whole bunch. He was with a group. And I don't know. I do believe he's originally from Africa. And I was just fascinated. His face was flawless. The style, he had these layers of African fabrics, and just beautiful. Just look at those glasses. The glasses, the hat, and then he had his dreads coming out of the top of the hat. Just beautiful. That's him close up. And I was able to grab some really good shots in this. I love it. It's a photographer's paradise. Yes, Kelly, right? His his skin is perfect. Perfect. I was like, dude. And then I asked him, I said, "Do you model?" And then he said, "Yes." I said, "Absolutely." I said, "If you were not modeling, you are wasting your face." I mean, he is gorgeous, and his skin was perfection. So this is a gentleman that's always in our neighborhoods, and you'll see him throughout New York. You'll see him in Times Square. You'll see him riding a bike with usually something on his head, usually tires, refrigerators, all kinds of stuff. And I've had a chance to photograph him on several occasions. And there he is dancing in the circle with his tire on his head. And you see, look at the garments. Look, I want you to notice all of the people. Look at the garments everyone's wearing. Look at the colors. I mean, every type of person is in this space. I mean, just it's such a beautiful sight. There he is again, close up of him dancing. He is also from Africa. I keep forgetting what country he's from. The West Coast of Africa. There he is again dancing. And everyone's totally fascinated by him every year as he is on the dance floor, I should say, in the street dancing, and with his tire on his head. He travels with his tire everywhere. It's crazy, but it's who he is. Everyone has their thing, right? And then this gentleman was dancing, and then he was also photographing as he was dancing. And then as I was photographing him, he was photographing me. And great shot. I love this shot. I just, again, it's the way that people interact. It is an important festivity that happens here in Brooklyn once a year. And again, for those that don't know, we're looking at photos from the BAM Dance Africa Festival here in Brooklyn that happened on Memorial Day. And the drummers. And I'm always trying to capture the expressions of the people. And here we are. I mean, look at the facial expressions. If you have a big screen TV, you can really experience this photo. Or if you're on your desktop, you can really see this. And but absolutely amazing. I forgot to add the Instagrammers in here. I'm so sorry, Instagrammers. Let me pop them in here. I forgot to add the Instagrammers. And but yeah, look at that. Absolutely. And again, it's all about the colors. It's all about the colors. And I have to say, black is beautiful. another fellow photographer. He's always around these major events here in New York. And you see him in Harlem, you see him in Brooklyn, you see him in wherever there's a big gathering of African diaspora, you will find him there. He's an amazing photographer. And yeah, but I can't wait to send this photo to him because he's gonna be. I think this is one the. I love this photo of him, and I was able to capture it. Hey, Bryson's in the building, and Bryson says, "What is Bryson saying? What's up, Ron? What's up, LP fam? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the weekend. We in the last month in May. How about almost the last day? And Elise is in the building. She says, "Good morning, everyone." Elise, I wanted to be there for her. She her one of her pieces of art is on display here in Brooklyn, and not too far from Brooklyn Academy of Music, which is BAM, which is this event that we're talking about today. And again, the sirens. I hear sirens all day long. Okay, let's go to the next one. So I've added some more photos for you guys. And again, you see the photographers, cell phone photographers, digital camera photographers, people just gathering. And again, look at the clothing. This is where people really express themselves as African. Doesn't matter if you're American, from the continent of Africa, from the Caribbean, from South America, from Central America, from Europe. We are all Africans. We are all Africans. Here's another great shot. The young lady was dancing, and you see the drummers in the background. And so these are the photos I took this on Monday just passed. Let's see. Look at this one. I love getting hair movement. Hair movement is, to me, is one of my trademarks. If I have a trademark, I'm always looking for hair movement. And I got it. That one came out so clear and so crisp, and it was just absolutely where I wanted it to be. But she was dancing. This girl was dancing. And then I get her face, and she's dancing there in the circle. I mean, look at these shots. Look at them. Then I thought it was a classic shot of the Muslim gentleman with his papers. It reminded me of the old days when you used to see them all the time, everywhere in New York. And but this was a good shot, I thought, especially as he's looking over to the crowds that are in front of him. And it's such a, it just shares a moment in time. Hey, Lisa. I see Lisa's in there. She says, "Good morning, everyone." There she goes. There she goes. And I see Kaz also says to Elise, "Congratulations." So there we go. And then this is another shot from another angle from in front. And but those that grew up in New York, you saw these gentlemen everywhere. You used to see them on Flatbush Avenue in Fulton. You used to see them on Fulton Street. You used to see them in Times Square. You used to see them in Harlem. They were everywhere in New York. And you don't see them as much as you used to. And again, I think we did some of these on Wednesday. I'll just move through these. So there you have it. Look at, this is another favorite. I love catching dancers in midair, and you're trying to get your shutter speed correct. I always have my shutter speed around 300 speed, so that way I can catch these kind of moments. So that way I can freeze the moment. And so my shutter speed is usually at 300, and then I work around that. So check that out. And just so much fun. Black folks know they know how to have fun. And it's not just black people there, but black people really this year, I have to you I don't know if it was just me, maybe but this year I found it to be more African centric, meaning more African people were there. And I will have to say, I don't know, maybe it was just me. There were white people there, but they were less of them this year. I don't know what that means. But there were less white people gathered at the African festival this year. Like I said, they're there, but there wasn't as many as used to be. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Elise says about her art. She says, good morning, Lisa. You have to go to Makata to see Esteban's solo exhibition. He will be there today. The exhibition will be up until August 3rd. Ooh, maybe I should scoot over there. Elise, are you let me know in DM how long you'll be here. I think you're here for the rest of the weekend. I think you are. And so today's my schedule's a lot freer. So I can pull away from my purge if you want to get together. If you're still in New York, I don't know if you're still here. But here we go. Check out that. So these guys are a music group. They rappers and I would just call it Black Soul. And again, the diaspora of our people are of many shades. Okay. So let's plan. At least let me know where you can fit me into your schedule today. Okay. Let me know when you can fit me into your schedule. And here's that shot again. I love this shot. Sometimes when you take a photo, you're just like, this shot. Really, this is my favorite shot. One of my. And then this one with the kid. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. I do. Lisa, isn't this a beautiful shot? This shot it means so much to me. I don't know this young lady, but I was just, and everything came together. The colors behind her, the back of the man with the jacket is curvature, and it kind of like goes with the shape of her hoodie. Her eyes are beautiful. This is one of those shots that's just so beautiful to me. And if she's out there, if anyone knows her here in New York City, and please let me know and I can send this to her and her family. Will you be putting these in your store? That's a good question. I did not think about it. I'm usually sensitive to photos, like photos of people that I'm usually sensitive about putting them in the store. But in exhibition, I can put them in exhibition, but I don't usually put photos of people in the store unless it's been on exhibition. So yeah. So usually especially it's a young person, so that would definitely not go into the store. I'm very sensitive to the people. This photo right here is art, and so I get to photograph it because it's in public. But I am very, very cautious about putting people's faces out for sale. You can also put them in your book, right? This could be in the book, but I would not sell it as a standalone. Thank you, Elise. And there's another shot. That's the closer version of it. Just so beautiful. Her eyes say so much. Her eyes say so much. Again, the eyes. This gentleman, like I said, he came in and he just started dancing. He was an older gentleman, and the crowd just responded to him. And then I was able to capture this one moment, his eyes. I'm always looking for the moment of emotional contact, and it's usually through, the old saying is, the eyes are the window to the soul. And that's it in black and white. Another angle, and then the dancers. So there you have it. That is some of the work from this week on Monday. I'll be editing more photos, 'cause I took a lot of photos. And again, I only go for about 3 hours to these things, and I just photograph what I can in 3 hours. Lacey said, okay, for edification, what's the difference on making money from your book with the photo and selling it individually? I don't know. There's some very thin lines when it comes to publishing versus gallery exhibitions and just photographs that are single. There's these very like, what's the best word? The laws of images has these little I don't know how to say um there's a fine line between them all. That's the best way. It's a fine line. However, individuals photos, like if I did an individual photo and then I would have to get one permission, I would have to have a model release form, and the model release form will allow me to do that. So a single photo of a person, I would need a model release form. And also, if I was using these photos for commercial purposes, I would need a model release form. However, if you use photography in art, then there's a whole different set of laws for that. So like I said, there's some fine lines between these entities. Commercial photography for art purposes, and the book would be art. So that's why it is a fine line. Okay, so that's why that's where that fine line is, and it changes depending on where we are in history, because photography laws on photography and the rights of the photographer fluctuate between the rights of the photographer and the rights of the individual. So there you have it. Okay, I hope that brings some clarity. But there is a whole lot more to it. That's why they have actual lawyers for photographers. There are several entities that will actually walk you through. There's actual lawyers for art, or for arts, the artists, the creatives. And those are the kind of lawyers we who are in this field have to consult. So, yeah, I think that helps. I hope that helps. Does that help everyone? Okay, I think I am. And if anyone else has more to add to that, please add on in the comments. And because it is so much, the laws are they're so flexible. Okay, so I have a couple of, if you have a Focus Friday account that you want to share, please put it in the chat and the comment area, and make sure you put FF and then at Instagram, or at YouTube, or at TikTok, wherever it is. But I have some that I have for you, because during the week I flow through these these things. And so I go through and I find these incredible folks that are online. And so I'm going to start this one off because one, I want to support her. Two, I love her work. Okay, here we go. Let me get it set up. Here we go. And this is the feed on Instagram of this wonderful, wonderful. Let me pop this there. Pause that. Here we go. Here we go. And I don't know if you've heard of her, Tanita D. She has 72.9 thousand followers. She is your weekly dose of education, entertainment, I should say edutainment, sorry. She has a collab. She also has exclusive content. She has a Patreon page if you want to support her. And but she does stuff like this. Hold on a second. Let me
migration of some sharks. In fact, the shark played an instrumental role in the system of terror enacted by captains aboard enslaver ships. Sharks rarely attack humans. We're not a part of their natural diet, and yet enslavers actively sought to turn enslaved Africans into prey as a sort of punitive control. So where horror movie staples like Jaws brought man-eating sharks to the big screen, the only time that's really held true has been during the Middle Passage. The Middle Passage refers to the period in which millions of enslaved Africans were forcibly transported to the Americas. Yet little has been said about the true violence, terror, and cruelty that lay aboard these enslaver ships. However, that cruelty was intrinsic to the trade itself. One could even say that it was a requirement of the job and the larger colonial enterprise it served. See, captains aboard slave ships had absolute and complete authority, and to enact their authority, they resorted to calibrated cruelty. Calibrated why? Because the enslaved were considered a product, and so the colonial system depended on their bodies, not their corpses. And because there were so many uprisings, because yes, enslaved Africans opposed the colonizer as much as their circumstances allowed, ship captains started using sharks as an instrument of control. Enslavers fed weird and or troublesome captives to sharks as a way to terrify those still on board and discourage them against escape or suicide. They purposefully attracted sharks for the sole purpose of terrorizing those on board, and naval officers were even known to feed sharks in order to keep them around their vessels. In fact, historical records actually prove that sharks started swarming these slave ships, and a study even suggests that a group might have followed a slave ship from the African coast to the American one. These practices within the transatlantic slave trade were so widely known that on top of paintings depicting them, a piece of satire entitled The Petition of the Sharks of Africa denouncing them was even addressed to the British Parliament. See, the desecration of African bodies became a way for these enslavers to keep them in line, but not just. The absolute sovereignty they enjoyed aboard these ships also contributed to their sadistic cruelty. It's said that some men even signed onto these voyages specifically to have unrestricted access to the bodies of African women. However, I'd be remiss not to mention the community that formed amongst the enslaved in spite of all the indignities and abuse. In fact, it's important to note that despite all of the horrors I mentioned, there was continuous resistance and unity amongst the enslaved. Some accounts even speak of how communal singing while in prison aboard these slave ships became a means of survival, and enslavers noticed that too, even banning certain types of singing and dancing because they were of such importance to the communities that formed aboard these ships. Ultimately, these stories are understandably very hard to hear and talk about, yet it's necessary that this side of history is told no matter how horrendous because it's often minimized. And with that minimization, we tend to push aside the very real consequences these events have had, how they've shaped society, and how they resonate with what's happening today. Let's talk about how the transatlantic slave trade changed the natural migration of some sharks. In fact, the shark played an instrumental.
I mean, she does such a great job with history and telling the story. And you can go through her page and she shares like the myth of white oppression, the world's best dads, Africa's forgotten surfing history. This is so cool. Check out that about surfing and the African surfing, the history of grills, the mystery of the Black Madonna. And it goes on and on. I love it. It's so nicely laid out. And it's a plethora of education. And so if you haven't been put onto her before, here you go. Check her out. And that is her page, Tanita D. And also, she is looking for sponsors. So she did a
Oh,
public
hi. If
service,
you've been following me for a while, you'll
and
notice
she's
that this isn't my
sharing
usual setup. And if this is your first time
about
seeing me,
her.
hello, I'm Danaisa, though most people know me as.
So she's sharing here how you can contribute to her, but not only but contribute, but in a way of finding her folks that can sponsor what she's doing so she can continue to do it. So I love her. I love what she does. Guys, check her out. You will not be disappointed. Many of you follow her already. Some of my friends I know follow her. And so check her out. She is the real deal. Great educational source. Okay, I saw that Mimi says love her page. So I know I'm not the only one. La, 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 la. I see here. Mimi says, yes, Elise, I was telling her to research and talk to others before putting an SC or other platforms. Yeah. SC doesn't, I mean, I have SC and it doesn't, I mean, I think I'm going to have to go to Shopify. I think I'll have to change my platform from Etsy to Shopify because I'm not getting any traction on Etsy. And I've been doing Etsy for years. I mean, I do get sales, but not like I should. And I am now ready to move on. So anyway, Etsy is okay, but it's not okay for me. And so let's go. I see here Elise has Maca 27. Maca 27. And let's check out Maca 27. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, so here we are. This is Maca 27, 25.4 thousand followers. Victor Mark A27 Canones and Mexican creative disruptor, artist and resistance. Mass. Oh, this is and at Mass Maca as California, and Fellowships Art for Justice and Right of Return. Okay, let's check it out. Let's go through the page. Oh, really? This is the guy that does these murals? Why does he does some of these here in New York? Look at that. Now, to me, these people are absolutely insanely gifted. I don't know how anyone can create art on this scale, but they do it. I watched them in Williamsburg. I watched them on 34th Street when they put the one on 34th Street, not too far from Madison Square Garden. There's another one that is very famous in the Flatiron district, what they call the garment district, where there's one dedicated to women. People that are able to do this is incredible. Look at that. I mean, the scale. The scale. Oh, this one's in Brownsville. I saw this one. This one is where I had a project a couple of weeks ago. Well, I passed by it when I was heading out to Queens, on the border of Queens and Brooklyn. Look at that. This one's in Sunset Park. Oh, these are New York. These are, okay, New York. Oh, wow. And that's before. Look at that. Wow. Wow. BFA image matter. The scale. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, I am always in awe of these people. Street photography gallery. Look at that. That is beautiful. And he's not even he's not using paintbrushes. He's using the spray cans. Look at that. Incredible. Elise, have you had a chance to meet this gentleman? Wow. And there's the work and look at that. Okay, I like. So this is Maka 27. Check out the page. Creativity, artists. Love it. U.S. Department of Stolen Land Security. U.S. Inhumane and Cruelty Enforcement. Wow. Ooh, look at this one. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Elise. That was beautiful. And let's see what else you guys are saying in here. Okay. I know, right? Kat says, wow, nice. Lisa, he is in Brooklyn. Wow, nice. Beautiful, says Mimi. Kat says, murals are amazing. How they are created too. Yeah, to be able to create something on that scale and get everything right, it's just beyond. I met him last Sunday. My husband and I went to the studio. Wow. Is he going to be on your show? Will he be one of the folks on your show? Because I would love to hear your conversation with him. It's just phenomenal. Okay, any Focus Friday suggestions? I have another one. I keep these lined up for you. I think I mentioned her before, but I'll mention her again. This is Ashley. Ashley, the Baroness, has 6,828. Wait, am I in the right place? Yeah, this is it. Yep, good. Okay. History and headlines, decoded, unfiltered, and way more interesting than school. She's also on TikTok, and she's followed by several of my friends. And she is, education lessons. Guys, this is where, if you have young kids, these are the people you need to connect and kind of like help your kids to get into these folks. Listen to this. Hold on a second.
Especially the ugly parts. There's always that one person in the comments like, why can't we just move on? Or why do you hate America so much? You can just leave. And to that, I say, you don't want to move on. You just want me to stop talking. Because if we were really over it, y'all wouldn't be grilling hot dogs in the name of a war from 1776. Let's talk about this fantasy y'all have where history is just over because it's uncomfortable to hear. Y'all say we should get over slavery, but you celebrate the Revolutionary War every year with fireworks and beer like it happened yesterday. You say Black people should stop bringing up segregation, but you'll wear a powdered wig to reenact the Boston Tea Party. You say we shouldn't dwell on the past, but you hang flags on 9/11 like a sacred ground and treat the Alamo like a church. So which is it? Is history important, or is it only important when you get to feel proud? We talk about atrocities, slavery, genocide, sterilization, internment camps, and lynchings, not because we're stuck in the past, but because the past is still shaping the present. Black neighborhoods are still underfunded. Native land is still being stolen. Prison labor is modern-day slavery. And the kids in Gaza are paying for policies that started decades before they were born. You cannot heal from a wound that you won't name. And the moment you say that was a long time ago, some law gets passed, some curriculum gets banned, and we're reminded that it's not over, it just evolved. You say, let's just celebrate the 4th of July. Cool, you're celebrating freedom that wasn't given to everybody. You say it's just Thanksgiving, it's about being thankful. Yeah, thankful for what? Land theft, broken treaties, smallpox blankets? You want the food, the fireworks, the flag, but not the facts. And that's the problem. The people who I'm talking to don't actually love history. They love a version of it, cleaned up, whitewashed, and gift wrapped in nationalism. Learning about atrocities doesn't make us angry. It makes us informed. It makes us resistant to propaganda. It helps us recognize the patterns when they try to repeat them. And it gives us a compass, so we stop walking in circles pretending that it's progress. So no, I'm not moving on, because this country hasn't. But the minute that it does, I'll be the first to light up a sparkler and sit down for a piece of pie. But until then, we're going to keep naming what they buried, because the truth doesn't expire, and freedom, it's not real if it only fits some of us. Every time I talk about history,
I absolutely love her videos, her feed. It is so informative, and she really lays out history, and she does a great commentary about it. And for those like myself who love history and love a good commentary, check out Ashley the Baroness, Ashley B. And you can go on and on. Literally, you there's so much information here that you'll walk away with lots of education. So there you go. Anyone else with any Focus Friday videos that you want to share? Okay. If not, I have another one. I do have another one. I'll keep them coming because I love this. I love searching for truth. And let me put this one. This is Focus Friday because there was some that I really this was really good.
This is the Unwritten Truths, the Black Star Line, Marcus Garvey's mission to reconnect the diaspora. They don't teach this in school, and they pray you never find out the full story. Marcus Mosiah Garvey Jr., a Jamaican activist, a political theorist, and one of the greatest orators the world has ever seen. He founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association, the UNIA, the largest Black organization in history, with millions of members worldwide. Garvey stood on stages across America in the 1920s, delivering speeches so powerful, so dangerous to the system, that even his own people sometimes feared how far he was willing to go. He preached Black nationalism, Pan-Africanism, and racial pride, at a time when simply speaking those words could get you killed. But Marcus Garvey didn't just speak, he built. He founded and personally edited the Negro World, a powerful weekly newspaper that reached millions. A global platform that carried the message of Black pride, Black business, Pan-African unity, and the liberation of African people worldwide. While mainstream media ignored Black voices, the Negro World became the voice of the Black world. And Garvey didn't stop there. He built the Black Star Line, a fleet of Black-owned ships meant to connect African people across the globe through trade. Garvey warned us, if Black people don't trade with each other, we will never make it. And that's when the real enemies moved in. J. Edgar Hoover, just 24 years old at the time, called Garvey the most dangerous Black man in America. Not because Garvey was violent, not because he broke laws, but because he had millions of Black people listening, building, waking up. The Bureau of Investigation, what we now know as the FBI, infiltrated his organization. They sent spies, they spread lies, they sabotaged his ships, and they framed Garvey to silence him. Why? Because they knew. If Garvey's vision succeeded, Black people would never be dependent again. No Black leader since has built a movement that big. No one has carried a global vision that bold. And that's why they buried him from your history books. Because if you knew the blueprint, you might try to finish what Garvey started. Follow at Black Knowledge app and stay tuned. Unwritten Truths continues.
That is one of my
This
favorite, and that you will find that on. There's a whole list of educational pieces on. Let me just pop this up here real quick so you get close to that. Official Black Knowledge has 497,000 followers. It's called Black Knowledge, and again, it's all there on your phone. And you can see all this information there. They have so much stuff. Again, lots of Black history. This is, I sat there, I was talking about my 3 history books down over here on civil rights. But what we have online available to us and to our families is a treasure trove of knowledge. And if folks that say they don't know Black history, or folks that say, I don't know our history, or folks that are not tuned in to our history, is by choice. Because in today's world, we need to take advantage of what we have, because maybe one day these won't be here. So I say take advantage of these amazing platforms and soak up all of the knowledge you can right now. Every day, take some time, go through these pages. Take some time when you're on a train, sometimes when you're just riding around in the car, or you're just hanging out, just waiting for the doctor's appointment, or like I did today, the dentist appointment. And just take time to listen to this history, because one day it may not be available online again. It's very possible. So don't let these amazing people work go in vain. It's too precious. Too precious. Look at all of these stories. So my challenge to you is get in there, learn it. Okay, we got time for one more, and this is from Elise. Elise has another one she's sharing here, and it is Honey. Honey, okay. I've got the I in the wrong spot. There we go. IEE. There we go. There we go. Here we are. And I'm not. And this is, how do I say Honi? Oh God, I'm horrible with names. But here is she, Harmonia, artist, painter. And let's check it out. I always need Lisa to do my hooked on phonics. Where's Lisa? Where's my hooked on phonics moment? Cass says, thanks for sharing these. See, okay, got that. They sure are trying to silence some true. Elise says, before we go on, Elise says, we definitely need to get all of the knowledge that we can now, because we don't know what is going to happen. Cass says, so true. Great shares and Focus Friday selections. Like honey. Oh, like honey. Okay, thank you, Elise. Like honey. It's like honey. So I started out right. I overthought it. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Chronicles of ORI. This is the most recent. Deals a week chock full of debut fiction deals just weeks ahead of the London Book Fair. Seems a promising sign for the business headed into 2025 and beyond. What else does she? A glimpse of a large painting The links are in her bio. She has a book coming out. Well, she had a book that came out October 14th, 2025. Nice. Wow. Now it looks like she takes her style from the old world of paintings, like in the 1700s, the 1600s. Let me just hear what she's. Does this have? Oh, this doesn't have a voice. Doesn't have words. Look at the details. Look how small her paintbrush is. Elise says, I can't afford her work, but I can get the book. Exactly. Look at that. That little paintbrush. Wow. I love the artist. Ooh, this is beautiful. Look, again, I had the thing about the eyes. Look at those eyes. Look at the chains. Look at that. Wow. I love the symbolism here. Love it, love it, love it. Her work is in galleries. This one is in, looks like 20th anniversary. My painting, Ori, is now on display in the newly reimagined American Art Wing. Wow. She is doing things. Wow, look at that. Wow. Wow, this is some. I know I'm gonna have to linger on her page. Wow, thank you, Elise. This is really a good one as well. Okay, guys, that's gonna be it for today. I hope you enjoyed our Focus Friday, and we will be back here on Monday. And tonight is our game night for those that want to participate. We will be doing our game night tonight. So join us in our game night here on Touch Base Daily, and you'll have the link up there later on. And we're gonna have a good day. And if you're in New York, get ready for the storms. We are going to have storms, big storms coming in this evening. Get about 1 to 2 inches of rain. Thunderstorms are approaching as well. Ooh, excuse me. Empty stomach. And Cass is amazing. Yes, draws. Let me put that on the screen. She says, Cass says, amazing. Yes, draws you in with great color. Yes, Elise says, you are absolutely correct. She uses the style of the old art masters. It's brilliant. Her work is brilliant. And I'm looking forward to getting to know Honey. Okay. So, guys, thank you again. And also, let me just go through my little banners here. Oh, la, la, la. If you want to stay connected, join my email list today. Stay informed of new services, updates, industry news, and monthly trends. be in the know. And I really don't do a lot of newsletters like I should. I should be doing more, but I don't like being in people's email boxes all the time. But that is where I am. Also, if you're looking for an event photographer, I am an event photographer, and you can just put my name out there into the world. And if someone's looking for a photographer for their event, that is what I do. And also, again, thank you to the Patreon community, and thank you for the new Patreon members that have just joined in the month of May. We got 2 new Patreon members, and I appreciate you so much for supporting what we do here, sharing in the financial burden of being here, that pays for the StreamYard, that pays for all the things that we do. And so thank you for the Patreon folks. You make this possible. Okay, so thank you again. Your support helps us create amazing content. And yeah, so I am very thankful for all of you who support this platform. Yesterday, and all, if you have the opportunity, I'm just going to give this to you because you need to know, is yesterday I had a great time at the TikTok headquarters here in New York City. And so if you did not see that video, that live, I can share. I'm going to put that on there so you can see. Just go to our channel here. Let me pop that on the screen real quick. And here we go. Hold on. Let me get you there so you can see. And lots of great lessons. So if you don't know
Air's thick with the smell
much
of
about
grilled
TikTok,
meat, ripe
or you want to
fruit,
get an
and just a
idea
hint
of
the
how to
sea.
use your TikTok
This
more
place is a
efficiently,
madhouse, but it's the kind of
this was
chaos
a
that
great
makes you feel
opportunity.
alive. Every corner, every
I
stall has
also
a story.
recorded it.
Families
so
that
you
have been
can
here
check
for
it out.
generations, working their
And
ass
why is that not
feel
moving?
alive. Every corner, every
And I
stall has a
also
story.
now I'm on my
Recorded
page.
Families
so
that have been here
check
for
it out. Hold on a
generations,
second.
working
Let
their
me
ass
go back and
feel alive. Every corner, every
I'm live. There we go. Okay, here we go. And you will find it in the section called Lives. And yesterday, so you see it right here. And that's TikTok Small Business Fest Part 2 and TikTok Small Business Fest Part 1. So check those out if you want to know about TikTok and how you can use it for your small business, but also lots of information on using the platform in general. So you can check those out as well on the channel. So this is the channel for those that don't know. If you've ever been to the channel on YouTube, this is our channel and everything is there. Also, just a little note here, if you want to know where all the lessons are, all the lessons are here too. It says videos, and you just go on the video tab and you can see all of the lessons we've covered. They're all there. Okay, so you can check out all the lessons as well. Okay, I think that's it. I think we can call it in. We can call in the day. My mouth is starting to come back. It's slowly coming back. The numbness is dying out. And yeah, Bryson says it's going to be nasty outside today. And also, Bryson says, so next week is BET Experience as we kicked off BET Award Weekend in LA. If you are coming, we got Waymaker Men Summit June 5th through the 6th. Also, speaking of events that are happening, if you're in New York City during the month of June and you're here on the weekend of the 7th and 8th, Photoville. I'm not working Photoville this year because of my move, but I will be there on that weekend to participate in all of the big events happen on the 7th and the 8th. If you love photography, come out to Photoville on that weekend. There's a whole lineup of organizations and workshops and conversations and giveaways and all kinds of stuff out there. So check it out on photoville.com. and you will get that kind of exposure. It's also, you can just go into the Instagram and look at that from there. Okay, so check out Photoville, and looking over in the Instagram world. Hey, Cuzzo, I see you over there. Miss Beautiful Reflections is in the building. Jesus Blackman is in the building. What's going on, sir? And Dwayne Pinto is in the building. How are you? And Groove on the Grass is in the building. So thank you over in Instagram. But come on over to YouTube. That's where the party is. Okay, guys. Guys, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see the game people for game night this evening. And that is it. Love. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.